Wait, saan sa? Nakita na, miss? No? Nakita rabi, Ateya?
Yes, we can see it, and recording is also starting. Thank
Ay,
you.
okay. So, good afternoon, everyone. I am here to report about the developmental stages of parenting. So, before I will start, I would like to ask if what can you say or what do you think is the picture trying to tell us? It is a game where four picks one word. So, can I ask Atea if what do you think the picture is trying to figure out?
Parenting?
Yes, correct. So it is a parenting or a parent. So parent, as we all know that it is a father or mother, one who begets or one who gives birth to or nurtures and raises a child. A relative who plays the role of guardian or being the guardian of their child. So we have here the developmental stages of parenting. So it's a road to parenthood. And the task of being a parent parallels children's growth and development. Just as children grow and change as they develop, so it is related with with parent and also the development of the child. So so we have here the six stages of parenthood. So the first one is stage 1 is image making, stage 2 is nurturing, stage 3 is authority, stage 4 is interpretive, stage 5 is interdependent, and last is stage 6 is departure. So, according to Galensky, he's the one who find out that parents grow and changes as they move from one stage of parenthood to the next. So he conducted the six stages of parenthood, and according to him, the experience of parenthood is complex and diverse. However, within the diversity, Galansky was able to identify the common threads and similar ways that different parents perceive in their experiences as parents. So, first is the stage one is image making. So, according to Galinsky, parents begin to shape their role as parents even before the child arrives on the scene. They begin to create pictures in their minds of what lies ahead as they form images of birth and parenthood. And imagining of what lies ahead of lifelong process as parents go through each stages of parenthood. They continue to work with these images. Growth occurs at points when parents modify an image to be more consistent with reality or modify their own behavior to reach toward an image. So this happens during pregnancy and parents yes they begin to like images nga kanang though kanang nagbuntis pa sila kay ilahan nang ma-picture out if kanang unsa ilahang pagka-parent or like unsa ilahang gusto nga inani sila the way nga parent or or ilahang child nga the way nga kanang it will be developed. So example kay envision changes in their lifestyle and adapts the needs of a child. So they started to compromise the needs of the child kay bisag nang sila sa tummy sa mommy kay kanang maka-feel sila nga kanang the child needs kanang care and like for example kanang when kanang if na ay pregnant, they at the kanang very beginning jud kay kanang they started nga kanang palisan nila og music like ingan ana. So next, stage 2, nurturing. In stage 2, this stage goes from birth until the child begins to say no, somewhere around 18 months to 2 years. So in this stage, parents compare their images of birth of their child and themselves as parents with their actual experience. So like kanang this stage also can parents will begin to if kanang diin liwat ang bata or kanang asa ang mas naliwat niya if it's either kanang sa mama or sa papa. So whether or not there is a substantial discrepancy between the imagined and actual child, it is by getting to know the child that the parents can resolve these differences. So by holding, touching, caring for the baby, it is a process of bonding takes place. They become attached to the baby because attachment is very important. It is not only at the old age nga like teenager, attachment comes first at the very beginning sud sa kanang tummy sa baby where kato like what I have said earlier nga ipaminaw sila og music. So bisag na sila sa tummy, they can feel nga kanang they are being attached or they are taking good care of their parents. So they become attached to the baby. So as parents face feelings of attachment, they work through a variety of questions and issues. They face questions about their priorities, about how much they should give to the baby and how much time to devote to other aspects of life. So here in the stage 2, birth to age 2, emotionally attach the child, question worth of other priorities. So we will set priorities already in the stage if like kakuan man ang isulti nila if nanay if like ang meme nga kanang sa bag if dalaga pa kay ang sud kay mga makeup ingon ana nya sa if kanang nanay baby kay mga diaper na ingon ana because you want to nurture nga unsay dapat imo mag-give sa imuhang ang baby. So you want the best for them, you will give anything for them, and most importantly, you make them as your priority. And stage 3 is authority. So in stage 3, um, it goes approximately from the child's second to the child's fourth or fifth year. And in this stage, parents face the task of deciding what kind of authority to be, how rules are set, what the rules are when they are enforced, and what happens when they are broken. So they come to think na this because they want this child to be developed and also they want themselves to be developed nga they want to become a good parent, they will set rules and make sure that the rules they implemented to their parent to their child will really kanang if unsa ilahang na picture out or ilahang na imagine at the very at the very first place. So kanang they set na rules and kanang this is also with the issue of control versus lack of control where it reaches a peak and predominates in the authority stage. In this stage, parents are sure of their identity as parents and have an attachment to the child. So, ilahan nang ma-feel nga kanang parents na sila because they set na rules nga dapat ikaw ingon pero not totally nga dapat they want nga ilang child kay ingon ana nga mo grow but in a good way nga dapat ang child ingon ana sila. So parents are accepting their authority over the child and begin to understand that child is not really an extension of them. Most parents approach parenthood with expectation about the kind of disciplinarian they are going to be. Disciplinarian in a way, in a good way. So most parents approach parenthood with expectations about the kind of disciplinarian they are going to be. They may form an image about not getting angry, always being capable of unconditional love, or being a different kind of disciplinarian than their parents were. Because parents, na sila ilahi-ilahi ilahang way nga pag-discipline sa ilahang kanang bata. But if not, just like kanang atong madunggan nga kanang inana siya pagka-discipline sa iyahang mama, we can't blame them because kakuan man ang uban nga kanang if unsa daw ang mama inana sad ang anak, so at some point if inana ang mama bati iyang na experience, if katong bata pa siya bati iyang experience sa iyang mama, so they are trying to kanang figure out or ilang gi-imagine kanang ilang imagine nga dapat dili dili ingon akong anak, dili siya mapareha nako inana. So that's why sa stage 1 kay katong kanang image making nga imuha na yung gi-picture out, i-imagine na nimo kung asa padung imong anak or unsa iyang padulungan. So in with that kanang kuan other must also kanang parent and child to grow kanang harmoniously, kanang na kuan ra smooth ra iyahang pagkakuan sa iyahang anak because kanang they kept it nga kanang dapat kuan jud nindot jud ilang pagpadako. And so the question during the authority stage becomes how to resolve the problem with occur for parents. It means facing the challenge of becoming an authority and developing the skills to play the authority role appropriately. Because tayo uban parent nga kanang sobraan ra kanang ilahang pag discipline sa ilahang anak. So ang mga anak ay mag-wonder sa sila nga no, but some parents ilang i-explain why ingon anak. So it is really important also to explain to them why you behave, I mean you kanang treat your child like that, kanang bisag ka usahay kay maka kanang for example malaag ka niya kasabaan ka or di kasugtan, but kanang wala imong parent nga para sa imong kaayuhan. So inana for example kung mahuyab-uyab ka niya di kasugtan o murag dili sa ingon nga na-experience nila pero at some point nakita sa nila sa uban. So we at being authoritarian sa parent kay dili sa ingon nga higpit kaayo, so dapat nasa siya kanang equal siya, balance nasa siya freedom. Next, move to stage 4. So interpretative. In stage 4, it encompasses the elementary school years. It begins in the child's preschool years and ends with the approach of adolescence. The child in transit to kindergarten or first stage usually prompts parents to review their images of parenthood to ask themselves how realistic they've been. By evaluating the past, they prepare themselves for changes to come. Through self-evaluations, parents can become more realistic about themselves and about their children. The task at this stage is interpreting. Although parents recognize that themselves to their children as well as how they are interpreting and developing their children's self-concept. Because being a parent is not always nga imuhang decision ang masunod or kanang imuhang gusto, because our children also have their kanang nagpicture outside sila if unsa ilahang ganahan. So in this stage, through self-evaluation, parents can become more realistic about themselves and about their children. And the task of this stage is recognize if kanang ilahang children kay start naman ni siya nga mo school na. So parents dili makakuha na sila nga ma-influence na ilahang child. Ilang na ma-interpret nga kanang ilahang child kay why they behave that way. So children as well kanang sana ma-develop sa ilahang kanang self-concept because of the influence of, for example, in school, their friends and their teacher. So a part of this process for parents involves evaluating their children. These evaluations are based on the images they have held on to and the comparisons to siblings or classmates or neighborhood children. This evaluation must be reconciled with a child's self-concept and with judgment that others, like the teacher, the child care staff, and their classmates, make about the child. So during this stage, the child also begins to create their images of what our parents should be like, and some of their images are conflict with the images they have other own parents. So just like what I have said earlier nga, ilahang manotice sa kanang uban nga parents itinana nga behave that way. So parents ma-evaluate sad nila silang self nga kanang inani sad ko ni nagdiscipline or inana nimo pagka-interpret ang mga things. So ila sad nang i-develop kanang dili sa inyo nga mag-compare sila sa laing parents, but murag ilahasang oh yeah ila i-evaluate kung sa ilahang pagkuwang or unsa ilang dapat ma-enhance or ma-develop as a parent. So um during this stage kanang it increases separateness of their own and their child's identity, while holding onto the connectedness continues to be a task in interpretive stage. So the older the child gets, the more the parents realize that my child is not me. So kanang some of parents nga ilaha man gud kanang i-figure out or i-picture out nga dapat ilang anak kay parehan nila or inana. So kanang though imuhang pagka-care sa imuhang anak since pagbata kay ganahan kay ngon anak jud siya imo na siyang gi-look forward, but because of this kanang iyahang ma-influence sa uban, and also the child na sila ilahang own kanang intellect or decision kung sa ilang ganahan. So in interpretive stage, it requires parents to decide how they will interpret their children's existence to them. Sometimes parents fall into this decision, other times the decision are chosen. So it is really kanang the decision of the kanang parent. So this kanang deciding what kind of life they want to and can afford to provide. So they question on giving or and getting are often focused on material things. Parents have to decide when to say yes and when to say no to children's requests for new clothes, toys, sporting equipments, and etc. If what kanang unsa gipangayo sa child. Okay. Dapat with limitations siya. So deciding how to interpret facts, skills, and experience to their children, like ilahang kanang ilahang neighbor who kanang ganahan og kanang pet ingon ana. So mao ni siya nga deciding how they want their children to behave. So mao na to nga mo set siya og rules kanang like unsa ilahang manner og nya kanang diri pud nga mag-start og kanang ilahan nang kuan ang child nga into kanang household chores. So mag-develop na sa siya. So next is deciding how involved to be in the children's lives at home and away from home. This decision relates not only to the child, but to how much time parents need for themselves as individuals, for their work, for each other. So, mao ni siya nga dapat ay kuan jud dapat na time management ang parents. Dapat dili ra siya kanang what do you call this, dili ra siya kanang one-sided, dapat two-sided siya kay kanang as you kanang malayo kanila or in ana makabaw ka if asa ka mo lugar as a parent. So deciding when and how much to step in to do things with one's children. Deciding when to let go, to encourage the children to do things independently. Deciding also on how to involve them to become with the other significant people, children and adults in their own children's lives, their teacher, their friends. So deciding how to define the changing relationship between parent and child. For example, the physical relationship between parent and child is kind of changing. How much do parents kanang children kanang like mag-hug, mag-kiss or mag-cuddle, kanang continuous nga ba siya nga to grow and develop because naay uban niya kanang inana ang parents ug ang child nga kanang kuan jud sila kanang mo share jud sila kanang mo hug mo kiss mo say og I love you, but some kay dili kanang though dili sila mo storya jud kanang verbally pero makita sad siya sa action. So kanang so mao ni siya nga throughout the interpretive stage parents respond to children's easy and not so easy questions and concerns. This causes parents to review what they think, believe, and value. It causes them to pull together their own beliefs so they can translate them to their children. This is a kanang demanding or challenging process for all parents in these stages. So, kanang rethinks parenting rule, decide what knowledge, skills, and values child needs. For example, think what he or she could have done as a parent. So, iyahan nang ma-interpret nga nung inana, nga nung ni behaving child, ug nga nung inana siya pagka-parent. And also decide on if they are satisfied with his or her parenting. So, ma-interpret na niya ug iyan nang ma-evaluate of unsa iyang dapat i-enhance or i-develop as a parent. Next is for stage 5 is interdependent. So, interdependent, this stage spans the child's teenage years. The issue that predominated in authority stage rise back into prominence. So this stage begins when parents become aware of what often seem to be unexpected, sometimes even shocking changes in the child. Changes in clothing, behavior toward the opposite sex, language, hairstyle, physical growth, and etc. Because the changes are often dramatic that actually entry into this stage can challenge of the image about who the child is or what the child is. So in this stage, it emphasized that today's parents feel many problems that they feel experience in handling. Um, the dangers today are bigger and yet parents' power is diminishing. With this in mind, there are two important phases parents must concentrate on as they redefine the authority relationship. So it is communicating with teenagers and setting limits and giving guidance. So that is why it is important to discipline and set rules of your children as well as your parents and yourself as a parent. To handle these issues effectively, parents must know themselves, their own standard and expectation, and they must know their teenager how much guidance he or she needs. Because at some point, parents also want their child to experience what they don't experience. So that's why nga, yun anak sila the way nga mo discipline sa ilahang children. So this kanang it examine their image of who the child is and who the child is becoming. So it redefines the images that aren't workable. So not all the time na imuhang gi-look forward kay mao na siyang mahitabo. But you can also nga kanang imuha na siyang mapa-nice. For example, if bati siya niya, imuhang gi-look forward kay nindot as a parent, imo i-develop imuhang kanang unsaon nimo nga kanang dapat inana siya nga kanang way nga modako because some experience also nga ang child bisag nilikoy siya kay na kuan gali sa bata kanang napadako gyapon niya nga tarong. So it is really also your role as a parent nga dapat imo sad i-develop kung unsa imuhang nakuan ana nga kanang development sa bata. So dapat kay kuan siya kanang parallel siya. And so kanman siya mo mag-set na kag limit and give guidelines sa kanang imong child ug also sa imong self. For example, parents determine curfews, freedom, and activities that children may or may not participate in. So, di ba or some of you nga kanang naka-experience sa dingon ana nga naay child ay naay parent inyong parent kay kanang dapat kanang inaron orasta or for example alas 6 dapat mauli na jud sa balay inunana napoy parents na kanang na siya freedom pero freedom with limitation and with guidance. So napoy uban nga kanang dapat yun mo participate ka ani napoy uban nga kanang dili lang ani. So inana siya nga way nga kanang imuhang pag kanang dapat interdependent ba o kanang balance imuhang kuan pag develop you as a parent and your child. So last stage is the departure. So the time when the child leaves home is characterized by evaluations. Parents evaluate whether they've achieved the parent or grown with relationship they want as well as taking stock of their overall success and failures. So they form images about what the future will bring or how far away their child might go and how often they will be together. So in departure stage spans a long period of time. During the departure stage, parents search for new ways to say what they are still a family by creating new rituals, habits, and traditions. So in this stage, parents have the task of loosening their control even more. It involves a complex set of tasks: caring, being available, helping without controlling, accepting the grown child's separate identity. In accepting this separate identity, parents learn that to accept separateness implies the beginning of a new connection. So, for example, kanang layo inyong place. So, mag-dorm ka, mag-decide ka mag-dorm. So, within the control ka sa parent, pero dili siya ingon nga kanang higpit na jud siya, kanang loosening your kanang control na. Then, also example is kanang kuan na siya kanang minyo na imong anak. Yes, kanang imuha gyapon siyang part gyapon siya nimo sa pag-develop as a child. Part sad nimo sa parent nga mag-develop sad ka nga dapat dili na nga kanang di ba kay makakuan mo na kanang if magpakasal na kay naiuban nga kanang mamas girl or mamas boy gyapon. So or kanang kuan siya kanang dapat kay depende gyapon sa mama. So dili dapat ingon na if inyong kanang anak ay kuan na siya magminyo na siya or na mag-separate na siya na daw na agyapon kani ay daw na agyapon sila nimo mo agyapon sila anak pero mura na lang ka og kanang advisor kaniya or kanang inana kanang tigif na lang ka og advice na kanang if na sila problem ingon ana dili na ingon na kanang in control japon nimo sila. So mo na siya nga you will learn how to accept kanang separate identity and to accept kanang separateness and implies the beginning of new connection. So can I ask Athea, can you recall if what are the six stages of parenthood? Hello, Athea, can you mute your I kindly open your mic. What is the six stages of parenthood?
Koan be kaning
Or you can just list three. The six stages of parenthood. Athea? Okay, can I have Lorraine? Can you name three stages of or identify three stages of parenthood? If you can turn on your mic, you can just chat it in the chat box. Are you still there? Okay, so I will just hello. So again, the six stages of parenthood is okay. Let's review. First is image making. Second, nurturing. Third, authority. Fourth, interpretive. And Fifth, interdependent, and sixth is departure. However, however, if parents develop on their own, child also have their development because um, the task of being a parent is also parallel to children's growth and development. So here are the child development milestone and parenting tips. Things you can expect at each stage of your child's development includes: first is physical development, second, emotional development, third, social development, and fourth, cognitive development. So, first is raise a to in for you to raise a happy and healthy child. So you should have diet and nutrition strategies for dealing with picky eaters, serving size suggestion, and information about what foods your child should eat or avoid. So for physical activity recommendations, including the amount of exercise, kids need activity ideas for kids, and ways the entire family can become more active together. So there is still a connection with with your child. Tips for around the house to help you determine age appropriate chores, how to spend time together as family, and children roles within the family. Next is a doctor's visit to organize well child checkup schedules, what type of doctor to see, common health issues by age, and recommended immunizations. Also, from time to time, you need to check your children if how they are doing. Also, sa imuha sang self, if how you are doing as a parent. Next, next would be guidelines to explain how much sleep kids need and how to encourage better quality sleep for your kids. Second, safety guidelines and strategies for keeping your kids safe. And technology advice on how to handle screen time and how to talk to kids about social media, the internet, and electronic devices. Your child's world and how you can help them manage school or daycare, navigate new friendship, handle stress, and deal with bullies and other likely stressors at this age. So here are the for the toddler. For parenting strategies in toddler, childproofing your home is a must during this stage. As toddlers are quick to climb on furniture, tackle the stairs, or get into the things that could pose danger, they're curious and they love to explore. So you need to be careful if kanang in the toddler you need to be careful because what they see is kanang for them what they see is food. They put it in their mouth or anything anywhere sa part sa ilahang body. So it is really kanang advisable nga you need to be like attentive or organized in your home. Next is potty training. Can be a huge milestone during toddlerhood. Many toddlers are very proud of themselves when they can use the potty, and many parents rejoice when they no longer have to change diapers. So, toilet training sa ni siya nga part. So, you need to develop them nga how to be clean because some are kana maglagot ta if kanang naabitay kana makasunod ka og CR nga kanang dili kahibamang flash. So mo na wala sila gi-train nga dapat magkuan jud sila ini ka magic cleanliness ba. Next is for parenting strategies in preschool. Their changing bodies also means their diet and sleep habits are more important than ever. It's a prime time to begin teaching them how to begin caring for themselves. They're often eager to learn how to dress on their own, and they may insist on doing as much as they can independently. So you'll see some big difference in your child's between the age of 3 and 5, and get ready because your child is about to become a kindergartner. So next is school age kids. So the parenting strategies in this is keeping your school age child healthy can be a challenge. Their body independence means they're more likely to insist on staying up later, or they may refuse to eat vegetables, even though they liked them last week. So, if this kay murag part nimo sa imong pagka-parent kay dapat flexible ka kay from time to time ka nang nay pagka mood swing sa imong child. So, ikaw as a parent mapiktuhan pud ka. So, dapat kuan mong duha kanang magsinabot jud mong duha because kanang ang child ana kay nana siya iyaha galing decision kung sa iyang ganahan. So it's a good time however to teach your child with the importance of caring for their own body. So mo na mag-integrate na ka og kanang kato mga rules, integrate na ka og values nga dapat so dapat makuan to ang upat ka kuan sa katong cognitive dapat ila jud tong ma-touch or kanang ma-take care nila ilahang cognitive aspect, physical, ilahang emotional ug social. So keep teaching your child new skills and you'll see some big chances in your child's independence between 6 and 9. So dira na mo develop na sila nga kanamo na sila nga big na sila because kana ilahan na na-develop ilahang ganahan o kanang ganahan sa nimo as a parent. So in twins, parenting strategies, technology is an important aspect of twins' life. Be sure to establish clear rules that will keep your child safe on smartphone or when using the internet. So dapat in this stage also ay in this kay kanang dapat imo i-clear nila nga why dapat in-ani, why dili dapat in-ani. Because to good health for a twin involves good nutrition, which can be quite challenging at this age, as well as solid 9 to 12 hours of sleep. So whether you're dealing with non-compliance, homework problems, or bullies, we'll help you find solution to whatever you and your child is facing. So it is also important from time to time na i-check nimo imuhang kanang imong child or so there kanang mga social media because at this age kay kuan na sila mag into na sila mag-socialize na sila, learning na sila nga mo-adapt og mga unsay na karon nga trend. Next is for teens. So although your teen may have a fair amount of skills, there's a good chance their social and emotional skills will need some fine-tuning. It's a good time to teach your teen new problem-solving strategies. An older teen will likely seek out your opinion, but don't expect your 14-year-old to ask for your advice. At that age, your teen might insist you have no idea what you're talking about, but don't worry, maturity will change that. So in this stage, matouch na siya ang sa developmental sa social development. Kay it begins nga sometimes ang imuhang kids kay dili na sila mo share sa ilang problems. So dito na sila mo share sa ilang friends or kinsa ilahang kanang mapagawson sa ilang problem. So kana as a parent dapat imo nang kato nang dili ang kato na nga stage nga dapat nga kanang imuhang pagka-authority because you need to kuan katong imong ipang set nga rules. So dapat sa rules sa imong giset dapat dito nga mag-communicate jud mo sa imong bata. And also atong interdependent stage because you need to know if asa na siya nga kinsa iyang mga naka-influence ana nga behavior. So safety issues in the teen years revolve mostly around risk taking. So car crashes are the biggest danger to teens. Focus on teaching them to be a safe driver and responsible passenger. So at this stage also kanang dili mag-start na imuhang kids nga moadto na sila o kanang places nga nang dili na kuyog permi ang parents so ilang kakuyog na ilang friends inana. So safety first jud dapat always. In the meantime, buckle your own seatbelt. Then teen years can be quiet the ride for a parent. So being a kanang parent kanang you also have to be consider about your child's development and to do if your child doesn't seem to be meeting key milestone on time. So dapat jud nga kanang parallel inyong duha kay as parent kanang mag-develop sila or oh yes mag-develop sila sa ilang parenthood, it will also affect to kanang the child. So here, so it that ends my discussion and let's move now to the activity. So are you still with me?
Okay, Teacher Faith just sent to me the um, activity so that your
Okay.
friends can answer it later. And then we will have time for Sister Joy to reinforce your sharing. Thank you so much, Faith, for the very comprehensive research and sharing that you reported to us all. I even learned so many things. I have some realization here on my end if I'll be a parent in the future, Char. Okay,
Yes,
so this
miss. So,
afternoon, we will welcome Teacher Joy for her sharing, but I'll just stop the recording, okay?